So on a little bit of a different note,
Yeah.
Can you talk about kind of what it's like to be an artist on a kind of day-to-day basis, and specifically what that's like in Toronto, especially since you've had experience in New York.
Yeah, you gotta be a multitasker. Like I have like 7 jobs, I would say. So, and it's pretty project based. So like, definitely in a week, my main breadwinning kind of job is teaching. So I do a lot of teaching. I teach classes and workshops at various institutions, Gallery 44, the McLaren Art Center, the Toronto School of Art, Anakin too, and the Art Gallery Mississauga. So actually a lot of like regional spaces. So I do spend a lot of time traveling too, like the McLaren's up in Barrie. Yep. But I also document artists' work and do scanning and printing. So that's like also another kind of side business that keeps me afloat. So I use my skill in some sort of like actual real way. I also write grants. So a big part of like this weekend I submitted my Toronto Arts Council grant that I've been working on for the past 2 weeks. And so like doing writing and like project planning is also a big part of my everyday. But it can mean that I'm here working or I'm like at home with my laptop in my bed, like finalizing how to conceptualize like my work. I also have some private students that I tutor. I have like 1 or 2 people who just want to learn photography in Lightroom, and I teach very basic and then more advanced Photoshop skills and anything else that comes my way.
Yeah, this is kind of what I'm getting at, that's kind of the reality of being a creative person. You have to creatively figure out how to insert yourself in every aspect of everything.
And then I didn't
how
mention
to see everything as an opportunity.
For sure. And I didn't even mention making work.
So that's a job. Exactly.
So that's a job. So I make art, and then I put on exhibitions. I curate. I write. I also last month I wrote an exhibition review for C Magazine. So that as a writer, getting some money in, I really think it's important. There's an artist, Stephen Beckley, who makes amazing photographs, 3-dimensional, really interested, like super like experimental work, and I just I was like, everyone needs to know about this. So I wrote a review, and I interviewed him. I had a show at Daniel Feria Gallery, and so I also think that's pretty important. Like I'm a curator and a writer, so and then an artist. So then I make work. I had a solo exhibition in January, and I'm prepping an exhibition in New York in May, and then I have a solo show in 2019 in a museum. So I'm prepping that, and dealing with a whole different scale. So I've never worked at shown in a museum before. It's the Varley Art Gallery in York region. And you know it? Have you been there before?
I haven't been there before, but no, I know of it.
Okay, the space is gorgeous. So I had a site visit with the curator, and so also my day-to-day is future planning too. So what is my work going to look like in 2 years? I have no idea. Yeah. And then the scale of it, the ceilings are twice the size of these ceilings. So how do I make work if I want to hang something? How do I scale things up? Because the biggest criticism someone has told me, or I've heard this before, it's not a criticism, it's just a comment, that I need to make bigger work. And so how can I do that with the space that I have, 100 square foot? So that's a challenge I'm gonna I've never dealt with before, and I'm gonna have to figure out. Do I make the work on site? Do I do it in pieces? how am I going to conceive it? I don't know.
There's always this engineering aspect to the whole thing. Like, how am I going to make this work? I have no experience in like figuring this kind of thing out, but I just have to do it.
You're exactly
so
right.
I will.
Yeah, and I have to figure it out. So
yeah.
That's a thing I can see this year that I have to really figure out. I'm starting, but like this needs to be like 10 times bigger if I was going to put this piece in a show. So, and then, yeah, like having exhibitions and then selling work. So, I've been pretty lucky this year that I have sold some pieces, which is really nice. So it's like, I'm not just in the hole because like everything, like I pay for everything myself, you know, or I get grants. But, you know, like for one piece, for one piece that I donated at an auction, I made like 7 different versions I printed the same image 7 times to like actually make one thing that I would donate.
Yeah.
So, like there's a lot that goes into it that, and time too, that was like 2 days of work. And like 2 days of work, it doesn't sound like a lot in the context, but it's 2 days of not teaching, 2 days of not doing another gig, or 2 days of not, I don't know, working some Joe job to kind of, you know, make ends meet.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any shame in that. I think, that's great if like some artists can live on their sales alone, or just being an artist. Like that's fantastic. That's the dream. But I definitely haven't achieved that yet, and nor do I think that's even really possible in Canada. I doubt there's a commercial artist that's viable enough to do that. So teaching is one way, I think. And I actually really love and really like yearn for a classroom setting. Or just like even like the crits or the show and tell, pardon me, in the akin space, there's so much that you can give and take in those moments that, I love teaching.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the other part too, where you're interacting with people that are really benefiting from something that you have to offer, which I think is amazing. And then just the cycle goes on, right?
Totally. And it's like, oh, I do have something important to say.
And that's the other thing too.
Valuable to you. Cool.
I think that we're so often really critical of ourselves and kind of being like, yeah, I do this thing and it's not that significant. And you take for granted that people don't actually know how to have these skills or how to approach them or that kind of stuff. And so what you do is actually really valuable.
Yeah, you're right.
And that is a nice reminder to have sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, I think I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel good?
Yeah, I feel great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hopefully I answered your questions in a way that helped. I don't know.
I think you're amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. You too.